Some people don't disappear because they are weak. They disappear because they finally understand something most people never question. They slowly stop explaining themselves, stop chasing attention, and quietly reduce the number of people around them. From the outside, this looks like loneliness, isolation, or emotional coldness. But what you're about to hear will completely change how you see these people. People who keep their circles small are often misunderstood by society. They are labeled antisocial, arrogant, or emotionally unavailable, without anyone asking why. Very few people realize this behavior is not sudden or accidental. It is a psychological response shaped by awareness, experience, and self-protection. From a young age, we are taught that more friends mean a better life. Popularity is praised, visibility is rewarded, and solitude is treated like a problem. Social media strengthens this belief by turning connection into a performance. But some minds are wired differently and feel overwhelmed by constant interaction. For these people, every interaction has a cost. Every conversation requires attention, emotional presence, and mental energy. Even enjoyable interactions slowly drain them when they happen too often. Over time, their mind begins craving quiet instead of noise. They start noticing patterns within themselves. After social gatherings, they feel mentally tired instead of energized. Their thoughts feel heavier, and their emotional balance feels disturbed. This self-awareness becomes the first warning sign that something needs to change. Unlike others, they listen to that signal instead of ignoring it. They observe how different people affect their mood and focus. Some interactions feel light and meaningful, while others feel draining. Slowly, they begin creating distance from what consistently exhausts them. Past experiences play a major role in shaping this mindset. Many small circle people have faced betrayal, manipulation, or emotional neglect. These experiences leave deep psychological imprints that don't fade easily. The brain remembers emotional pain and tries hard to prevent it from repeating. After enough disappointment, the mind adapts. It starts associating large social circles with chaos and emotional risk. The nervous system becomes alert around unpredictable people. Reducing social exposure then becomes a form of emotional survival. But wait till you hear this part. This behavior is not driven by fear of people. It is driven by clarity about personal limits and emotional capacity. Once that clarity forms, relationships are viewed very differently. People who keep their circles small understand boundaries deeply. They know their time, energy, and emotions are valuable resources. They no longer feel obligated to give access to everyone. Closeness becomes something earned, not something given freely. This selectiveness is often misunderstood as ego. Silence is mistaken for arrogance, and distance is mistaken for pride. In reality, silence is where they recharge and reset their mind. Distance is simply the space they need to remain emotionally stable. They also value depth more than numbers. One honest conversation feels better than 10 shallow ones. They seek meaning, understanding, and emotional intelligence. Small talk feels empty once deeper awareness develops. As their circle shrinks, something unexpected happens internally. Their thoughts become clearer, and their reactions slow down. They feel less pressure to perform or please others. Life becomes quieter, but also more controlled. At some point, a powerful realization takes place. They understand that peace is more valuable than approval. They stop trying to be liked by everyone. This choice feels uncomfortable at first, but later it feels freeing. Outsiders often misread this transformation. They see withdrawal and assume sadness or social failure. But internally, these individuals feel more aligned than ever. They are no longer pretending to fit into spaces that drain them. What happened next will surprise you. Keeping a small circle is rarely about dramatic cutoffs or conflict. Most connections fade naturally without arguments or explanations. There is no announcement, only quiet detachment. They stop chasing people who don't reciprocate effort. They stop forcing bonds that feel one-sided. If a connection flows naturally, they nurture it deeply. If it feels forced, they let it go without resentment. This behavior makes them appear emotionally strong. But that strength was built through experience, not comfort. Every boundary they set was once a painful lesson. Every distance they keep was once a wound that taught them awareness. This is only the surface of their psychology. There is much more hidden beneath their quiet nature. In the next part, we will uncover their unseen strengths. Stay with me because the next part will connect all the dots. People who keep their circles small develop strengths that most people never notice at first glance. Because they are not busy managing too many relationships, their mind becomes sharper and calmer. They spend more time thinking, observing, and understanding themselves. This inner work slowly builds a kind of emotional strength that cannot be faked. One of their strongest traits is emotional independence. They do not depend on constant messages, calls, or validation to feel secure. Their sense of worth comes from within, not from social approval. This makes them stable even when others feel lost without attention. While many people fear being alone, these individuals learn to sit with themselves. They use solitude as a space for reflection, not as a punishment. In silence, they process emotions instead of escaping them. Over time, this creates deep emotional maturity. But wait till you hear this part. People who keep their circles small are often highly empathetic. They feel emotions deeply and absorb energy more intensely than others. That sensitivity is exactly why they must be careful about who gets close. They understand that empathy without boundaries leads to burnout. Taking on everyone's problems slowly drains mental strength, so they choose carefully where to invest their emotional energy. This protects their compassion from turning into exhaustion. Another hidden strength is their ability to observe instead of react. They listen more than they speak and notice subtle changes in behavior. Because they stay quiet, they see patterns others miss. This awareness helps them avoid toxic situations early. When conflict appears, they don't rush to defend or explain themselves. They pause, reflect, and choose their response carefully. Silence becomes their tool, not their weakness. This calm presence often unsettles emotionally reactive people. What happened next in their journey is surprising. With fewer distractions, their energy shifts toward personal growth. They invest time in learning, health, and long-term goals. Their progress happens quietly, without the need for an audience. They don't need constant motivation from others. Their discipline comes from internal standards, not external praise. This makes their habits more consistent and sustainable. Growth becomes personal instead of performative. Another misunderstood trait is their loyalty. When they let someone into their circle, it is deeply intentional. They don't divide their emotional energy among many people. They focus it fully on a few trusted connections. This loyalty is rare and powerful, but it only appears after trust is proven over time. They don't rush emotional closeness or overshare quickly. Once trust is built, they stand firmly by it. Many people confuse their independence with emotional coldness. In reality, they feel deeply, but express selectively. They protect their emotions because they understand their value. This selectiveness is a form of self-respect. Here is the biggest revelation of all. Keeping a small circle is not rejecting people. It is choosing mental peace over constant emotional noise. It is choosing balance over burnout. They may accept loneliness at times, but they are rarely empty inside. Their inner world is rich, thoughtful, and self-sustaining. They don't fear silence because they understand it. This makes them resilient in uncertain situations. As life moves forward, these individuals often thrive quietly. Their success may not be loud, but it is stable and lasting. When they speak, their words carry weight and intention. Their presence feels calm because it is grounded. If you know someone with a small circle, don't rush to judge them. They may be protecting a depth you haven't seen yet. Their silence may be wisdom, not emptiness. Their distance may be strength, not rejection. If this message resonated with you, you already understand more than most people. Like this video, if you value depth over noise, subscribe for more psychological insights that go beyond the surface. And comment below if you are someone who keeps their circles small.